What is the sound of a society breaking? Is it a loud explosion, or is it a quiet, creeping madness? We build our lives on a series of fragile agreements that money has value, that laws have power, and that our shared sense of morality is a shield against the darkness. We call this civilization. It is our greatest comfort. But what if one man walked out of the shadows, not to break these agreements, but to hold them up to the light and show us they were written in disappearing ink? In the vast gallery of fictional evil, the Joker stands alone. He is not a conqueror seeking a throne, nor a tycoon seeking wealth. He is something far more terrifying, a philosopher with a punchline. We've been told he's an agent of chaos, a madman who wants to watch the world burn. But perhaps we've been asking the wrong question. What if he wasn't trying to start the fire? What if he was simply the first one to point out that we were already engulfed in flames? The history of any conflict is written by the victors. Today, we're going to pick up the version of the story that was thrown in the trash, the one told from behind the walls of Arkham Asylum. And what you find might make you question who the real madman is. Before we dive into the abyss, make sure to like this video and subscribe. The journey down this rabbit hole is one you'll want to see through to the end. The Joker's evil is often described as random, but it is anything but. His actions are not acts of chaos, they are meticulously designed experiments to prove a single, horrifying hypothesis: that civilization is a temporary and artificial state. Consider his masterpiece of terror in The Dark Knight. The two fairies, one packed with innocent civilians, the other with hardened criminals. Each group is given the detonator to the other's boat, with the ultimatum to blow the other up or risk being blown up themselves. This wasn't just a plan to kill people, it was a clinical trial to test the human soul. He tells Gotham's mob bosses that Batman is the one who changed the rules. But what he truly believes is that there were never any rules at all. He predicted that when the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. He puts society in a cage with a mirror and waits. The terrifying part of this experiment is not that he thought of it, but how close he came to being right. On that ferry, you see the veneer of civility crack. You see fear turn good people toward murder. His experiment only failed because a single anonymous prisoner threw the detonator overboard. An act of defiance against the very premise of the test. But the debate, the fear, the willingness to consider the unthinkable, that was the Joker's victory. He proved the potential for monstrosity lives inside every single person. He isn't a villain creating chaos. He is a social scientist publishing his findings in the most brutal way imaginable. The Joker's most famous and unsettling idea is that the line between sanity and madness, between order and chaos, is perilously thin. He believes he is not an anomaly. He is the new normal waiting to happen. All it takes, he says, is one bad day to reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. He doesn't just preach this philosophy, he proves it. He takes Gotham's shining symbol of hope, District Attorney Harvey Dent, the city's white knight, and subjects him to that one bad day. He orchestrates the death of the woman he loves and burns half his face away, shattering not just the man, but the very idea of justice he represented. He doesn't turn Dent into a follower, he unleashes the monster that was already there. He proves that even the best of us are just one tragedy away from becoming him. This idea is given its most visceral form in the story of Arthur Fleck. Here we see the one bad day is not a single event, but a slow, crushing avalanche of societal neglect. A failed mental health system that cuts his funding. A society that mocks and beats him for being different. A media landscape, embodied by Murray Franklin, that profits from his humiliation. Arthur Fleck didn't just snap. He was pushed, inch by inch, over a cliff he didn't even know he was standing on. The world that created him is the true antagonist. His transformation into the Joker isn't an act of evil. It's a desperate, final act of being seen in a world that made him invisible. He forces us to confront an unbearable question. Is a man who goes insane in an insane world really the one who is crazy? Or is he the only one who has finally woken up? Who is the Joker? Where did he come from? The terror of the character is amplified by the fact that we never truly know. He is the ultimate unreliable narrator of his own life. To one person, he claims his father was a drinker and a fiend who gave him his scars. To another, he says he did it to himself for a wife who couldn't stand the sight of him. In his own words, "If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice." This is not just a sign of his madness. It is his greatest strategic weapon. By having no fixed origin, he becomes impossible to define, impossible to psychoanalyze, and impossible to defeat in a conventional way. He is not a man, he is an idea, a ghost. He represents the formless, chaotic potential for evil that exists in the world, unburdened by motive or backstory. You can't reason with him or blackmail him because he has nothing to lose. He has stripped away every part of himself that society could use as leverage. This makes him the perfect antithesis to Batman, a character who is completely defined by his past, by the single traumatic event in Crime Alley. Batman is anchored to his history. The Joker is free from it. In this sense, he is more than just a man. He is a force of nature, as unstoppable and unpredictable as an earthquake or a hurricane. For all his sermons on the meaninglessness of it all, for all his claims to be an agent of pure, untethered chaos, the Joker is bound by a single, unbreakable chain: his obsession with Batman. This is the central paradox that exposes the flaw in his own philosophy. He preaches a gospel of nihilism, yet his entire existence is defined by his relationship with one man. A true agent of chaos would not care about a single hero. He would burn Gotham and move on to Metropolis. But the Joker doesn't. He orchestrates elaborate, citywide games for an audience of one. His most honest confession comes not in a threat, but in a moment of clarity. "I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No, no, no. Number. You complete me." Chaos, it seems, needs a canvas. Anarchy needs a system to rebel against. The Joker is not a force of nature. He is an artist whose only medium is the soul of Batman. He needs the ultimate symbol of order to give his chaos meaning. Without Batman, his elaborate jokes fall flat. He is not a god of chaos. He is a broken man who is so addicted to his opposite that he would rather be locked in an eternal dance of death than be alone. His greatest enemy is also his sole reason for being. In the end, Batman always wins. He stops the bombs, saves the hostages, and drags the Joker back to his cell in Arkham. But with every victory, Batman loses a piece of himself, and the Joker's point is etched deeper into the soul of Gotham. In The Dark Knight, the Joker's ultimate triumph was not in killing people, but in corrupting an idea. To save the city's spirit, Batman, the one man who never breaks his one rule, is forced to lie. He takes the blame for Harvey Dent's crimes, becoming the villain to preserve the hero. In that moment, the philosophical war was over. The Joker proved that even the purest symbol of order would have to embrace chaos and deceit to maintain the illusion of control. Locking him in a cell is like trying to cure a disease by catching one of its symptoms. The Joker always gets out, not just from Arkham, but from the dark corners of society that breed men like him every single day. Batman can fight the man, but he can't fight the idea. And the idea that our orderly world is just one push away from total collapse is an infection with no cure. So as we watch the hero drive away, leaving the laughing madman in a cage, we are left with the final chilling question. The Joker was a monster, yes, but his arrival was not an accident, it was an inevitability. He was a response. And perhaps the real question is not whether he was right, but whether we are living in a world that is still worth saving from his punchline.
Tower.